Today is Wednesday, June 5th. We're talking about a broad asylum ban that's now in effect and why there's pushback from both sides of the aisle. Also, the first evidence presented in Hunter Biden's criminal trial. And another heated hearing on Capitol Hill, this time featuring the U.S. Attorney General. Plus a setback in the push to use psychedelic drugs as medical treatment. How $99 in gambling cost one MLB player hundreds of thousands of dollars. And who just became the most popular creator on YouTube. Those stories and even more news to know today coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. President Biden made his most aggressive move yet to control immigration at the southern border. As expected, he signed executive action that says if illegal border crossings surpass 2,500 a day, no one else will be allowed in, other than at designated checkpoints, not even if they're claiming asylum. The only exception to the new rule is children who are migrating alone. Remember, former President Trump issued a very similar program back in 2018, but it was quickly ruled illegal by multiple federal courts, who said the ban violated the immigration law that says a person can ask for asylum no matter how they enter the country. The Biden White House says this new ban is different since it can go in and out of effect if Biden or a future president repeals the proclamation. And President Biden says it's necessary since Congress has not been able to pass immigration reform. He says this is the next best thing to get control of the border and restore order. Though it's not clear if that argument will hold up in court. There are also a lot of questions like, will there be enough personnel to detain and deport migrants? And will migrants' home countries cooperate when they're deported? Politically, several progressive Democrats have said the president's move unfairly targets vulnerable people entitled to asylum protections. On the other side, Republicans have called it too little too late, and former President Trump accused Biden of only pretending to do something about the border. Expect to hear a lot more about this on the campaign trail and at the first presidential debate in just a few weeks. Jurors heard the first testimony in the trial of President Biden's son, Hunter. This is the case that accuses the younger Biden of illegally buying and owning a handgun while he was on drugs. And on day one, prosecutors leaned heavily on Hunter Biden's own words. They played parts of his audiobook memoir in which he talked about his addiction. They also showed text messages he sent to his one-time girlfriend about drugs and the gun. But Hunter Biden's defense lawyers are arguing that their client did not mean to lie, that he bought the gun just after coming out of rehab. And even though he spoke in his memoir about using drugs around that time, he didn't talk about that very day. They also say the gun was never loaded or used. Biden has pleaded not guilty. The trial could last more than 2 weeks. Some of former President Trump's closest allies are facing new criminal charges over their alleged efforts to keep Trump in the White House. Felony forgery charges were filed against 2 lawyers and a Trump aide who submitted paperwork that said Trump won the battleground state of Wisconsin in 2020, even though Biden was the winner by 21,000 votes. These are the first charges to come in Wisconsin, but they follow similar charges in Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, and Georgia, all related to the so-called fake electors scheme. In the Wisconsin case, Trump's allies each face up to 6 years in prison and fines of up to $10,000 if they're found guilty. So far, they have not responded. But in the past, some other so-called fake electors have defended their actions by saying they were only acting in case Trump's legal challenges were successful. Stay tuned. Once again, a hearing on Capitol Hill escalated into partisan fighting. The House Judiciary Committee questioned U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland. Well, within the first few minutes, Republicans accused Garland of conspiring to go after former President Trump, while Democrats accused Republicans of squandering their authority just to spew conspiracy theories and boost Trump's campaign. Garland also went after his critics, blaming them for undermining the justice system and putting law enforcement officials in harm's way. He said, quote, "I will not be intimidated," that he and his agency will stay committed to upholding the rules of law free from political influence. To be continued. An FDA advisory panel weighed in on what could have been the first psychedelic drug approval in the U.S., but ultimately, they decided against recommending it. They looked into studies that supported using small doses of MDMA, better known by street names like ecstasy and Molly, to help treat post-traumatic stress disorder. Many mental health advocates and veterans urged the panel to endorse it, since PTSD affects about 13 million people in the U.S., and many of them don't respond to existing therapies. But panel members raised concerns over missing safety data and allegations of misconduct in clinical trials. Plus, they say it's tough to know how much the drug really affected trial patients since it was paired with traditional psychotherapy that could have made a big difference for them. The FDA doesn't have to follow the advice of the advisory committee, but it usually does. The agency is expected to make a final decision later this summer. By the way, there's new research supporting another option for veterans dealing with PTSD, and that is service dogs. For the study, dogs were matched with veterans over the course of 3 months. They were taught to pick up a vet's physical signs of distress and interrupt panic attacks and nightmares. And in the end, PTSD symptoms improved more in veterans who worked with dogs than ones still on the waiting list. Still, researchers say service dogs should be considered complementary to other treatments and not a standalone therapy. Much more news for you still ahead, but first, this episode is brought to you by Hiya Health. As most parents know, daily routines can be key for a happy home. And one of the routines we've incorporated into our mornings is giving my son Hiya vitamins. It comes in this cute bottle he got to decorate with stickers, and most of all, he loves the taste. He always gives a little noise when he pops his vitamin in his mouth. And yet, there's no sugar and no yucky gummy junk. Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, as well as 15 essential vitamins and minerals like vitamins D and C, B12, zinc, folate, and many others. It's specifically designed for kids 2 and up. Hiya is non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, and everything else you can imagine. Basically, my little boy loves Hiya vitamins, and I love knowing he's getting the nutrients he needs. And we're all happy. And I want you and your kids to be happy about this too. So we've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy. This deal is not available on their regular website, so go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Again, get 50% off your order at hiyahealth.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. It's another good day to show love to our planet. Every year on June 5th, the United Nations leads World Environment Day. It's the largest international event focused on the environment, meant to spark awareness and action. People are encouraged to do things like plant trees or wildflowers, make compost, recycle, conserve water, and spread the word. And this year's theme is Our Land, Our Future. We are #Generation Restoration. There are a bunch of activities planned around the world to celebrate this World Environment Day. And to find one near you, you can check out the link in today's episode notes. Tech workers who have been working with artificial intelligence are now warning about the risks that come with AI. Current and former employees of OpenAI and Google DeepMind put out an open letter yesterday. In it, they say they're worried humans could ultimately lose control of autonomous AI systems that could make people go extinct. Plus, they've raised concerns about fairness, jobs being displaced, and the potential for highly realistic artificial intelligence to manipulate people. The letter also says they cannot voice their concerns the way they'd like to because of confidentiality agreements, not enough whistleblower protections, and retaliation fears. And they want that to change, with AI companies being more open and more focused on safeguards. 3 leading artificial intelligence experts, who are often called the godfathers of AI, also endorsed this letter. OpenAI did respond, saying it agrees and that there needs to be government regulation. Well, heads up, another streaming service is raising its prices. Max is now charging more for ad-free monthly and yearly plans. The monthly one will cost you $1 more each month, bringing the new price to $17. The yearly plan will cost $20 more, making it $170 a year. The new prices are effective immediately for new customers, and if you're already a subscriber, you'll see the increase with your next billing cycle. Well, this comes just days before the season 2 premiere of HBO's record-breaking House of Dragon show. Plus, new original series like The Penguin, starring Colin Farrell, as well as NBA, NHL, and MLB games are all coming out. More athletes are getting in trouble for gambling, like San Diego Padres player Tucupita Marcano, who was banned from the MLB for life. The league says he placed hundreds of baseball bets totaling more than $150,000 over the last few years. He's not the only player who was caught gambling, but his punishment was the most severe because he was caught betting on Pittsburgh Pirates games while he was on the team. And it made him the first active player in a century to be banned for life because of gambling. 4 other players got 1-year suspensions. For example, Oakland Athletics player Michael Kelly. Over the course of about 2 weeks back in 2021, while he was a minor league player, he wagered less than $100 on minor league games. Well, since then, he became a consistent relief pitcher for the A's, earning him a six-figure salary. So now, because of his $99 bets, he's losing more than $740,000 for not being able to play for a year. The other 3 players who got suspended are still in the minors. There's a new top streamer on YouTube. The creator known as Mr. Beast became the most subscribed creator account on the video platform this week. At this point, he has more than 271 million subscribers. In second place is the Indian music channel T-Series, followed by YouTube movies and Cocomelon nursery rhymes. Mr. Beast's channel is known for over-the-top stunts, challenges, and cash prize giveaways, and his videos often receive more than 100 million views each. Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, has also grown his business ventures with a new virtual restaurant, a chocolate brand, and an online merch brand. And he started a game show with Amazon Prime Video, too. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Honeylove. If you're sick of the old, uncomfortable essentials in your closet, it is time to upgrade. And the best place to get your new tanks, bras, leggings, shapewear, and more is Honeylove. All of their items are next-level comfortable and cute. I mean, we all know that feeling when you get home from a long day and immediately want to get into your pajamas. With Honeylove, you won't have to experience that again because their items are so comfortable, you'll just forget you're wearing them. And that's true whether you're wearing Honeylove's shapewear and bras or their leggings and loungewear. And speaking of leggings, Honeylove's Legging 2.0 is still my favorite legging. I wear them literally every week, if not every day. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras, leggings, shapewear, and more, and save 20% at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy and find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. You deserve this. Free the pain and discomfort. Keep the support with Honeylove. Okay, now back to Work Wednesday. There is a controversial new workplace trend going around this summer. It's called quiet vacationing. In a recent Harris poll, nearly 4 in 10 millennial workers admitted taking time off work without telling their bosses. It's much more common among millennials than other age groups, though every generation reported some quiet vacationing. And there are a few ways to do it. Some people actually take trips while being logged on during work hours. Others say they occasionally move their mouse to appear as though they're online while they do other activities. So what's motivating this trend? Well, quiet vacations might be happening in part because there's a negative stigma associated with taking the paid time off that workers are actually allowed. 61% of millennials reported feeling anxious about using their PTO. And 76% of Americans agreed with the statement, "I wish my workplace placed a stronger emphasis on the value of taking regular breaks." Quiet vacations are also more common in an era of remote and hybrid work. That makes it a lot easier to get away with. But of course, quiet vacationing can also be pretty risky. You could get caught and end up getting fired over it, or managers might decide to crack down on employees and start really monitoring your every move. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing the show. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.